Hi everyone! Have you ever been in the situation where you've applied your mascara first thing in the morning, it looks phenomenal, nothing is out of place, you then step outside, run a few errands, come home, and within that 2-hour window, your mascara has made it from perfection to smeared all over your skin around your eyes. It's incredibly embarrassing when that happens because you're probably the only one that hasn't noticed during that 2-hour time window, but if you follow some of the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, hopefully you will eradicate any of the smudging, because it used to happen to me all the time until I started following these tips. So there are a lot of tips within this video. You do not need to do them all. Pick a few, try them out. If they work for you, fantastic. If they don't, move on to the next. So let's get straight on with it. If you're new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new content on YouTube every single week. I would love it if at some point in this video you are finding it helpful. Please consider coming and joining the Pampered Wolf Pack by clicking on that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Jumping into tip number 1, which is the most self-explanatory, so you've probably tried this already and it either hasn't worked for you or you don't like the products, but I need to mention it in this video because it would be really weird if I didn't, and if you haven't tried this already, this may solve all your issues in one swoop. So tip number 1 is, if you aren't using a waterproof mascara or a tubing mascara, I highly recommend that you get your hands on a really decent version of either of those two products, and I'll come on to my favourites of those in just a second. A lot of people say they don't like waterproof mascaras because they're really difficult to remove from the lashes at the end of the day, and I would completely agree with you. If you're using a cream cleanser, a foaming cleanser, or even some balm cleansers, they can be incredibly difficult. However, if you get yourself a really good oil cleanser, and by really good I don't mean really expensive, my favourite one is the From Green Cleansing Oil from Purito. I think that's just out of this world fantastic on a budget. If you get yourself a really good oil cleanser, it comes off straight away, no aggressive actions needed, no pulling out the lashes because of that aggressive action, and definitely doesn't strip the lashes of any nourishment or moisture that the lashes need to stay really long and healthy. So I would definitely recommend getting your hands on a really good oil cleanser if you're struggling to remove your waterproof mascara and that's putting you off using waterproof mascaras to stop that mascara from smudging throughout the day. If you really don't like a waterproof mascara though, a tubing mascara for me is the next best thing, because tubing mascaras, the fibres wrap themselves all the way around the lashes, creating a tube. Now, this isn't going to suit anybody who likes really thick, voluminous lashes, because tubing mascaras tend to be really long and separated and fluttery, but more on the natural end. You very rarely get a tubing mascara that you can really build up volume from the base of the lash all the way to the tip, but they are incredibly good at not smudging. So if you do like that natural fluttery look and you haven't tried a tubing mascara, also highly recommend those as well. I can't mention waterproof mascaras without mentioning the Beauty Pie The Perfect Waterproof Mascara completely. Number 1, it does not budge. But I also have a couple of others to mention. So I love the Lancome Mr. Big waterproof version, and I also have been reaching for a lot recently the MAC Stack waterproof mascara. It's not entirely like the MAC Stack original formula. It doesn't give you as much volume. However, waterproof it definitely is, and it's very, very effective. So for tubing mascaras, I absolutely adore, once again from Beauty Pie, the Wrap Star tubing mascara, but I also love the Surratt Releve mascara. I think that's how you pronounce it. And also, if you're on a budget, the Essence Bye Bye Panda Eyes tubing mascara is also phenomenal. So if you've already tried waterproof and tubing mascaras and you're finding that they're just not for you, or you're still getting smudging around that eye area, then hopefully one of the next 9 tips, or a few of the next 9 tips, fingers crossed, will help to resolve that smudging issue once and for all. There is a running theme throughout this video, and that is oil will break down any mascara, even waterproof mascara. So if you have found that you're using a waterproof mascara and it is still breaking down and smudging all around your skin, then it's probably because it's coming into contact with oil. If you have oily lids or oily under eyes and your mascara is touching that, it will break it down. And that is why we use an oil cleanser to remove our waterproof mascara, because waterproof mascaras, they are waterproof, they are not oil proof. So we need to keep oil away from that mascara, otherwise it will break down, smudge, bleed, just go a bit of a gunky mess. So let's move on to tip number 2. Tip number 2, if you use a lash conditioner, only use it at night and then wash it off in the morning. Because if you apply it in the morning, usually lash conditioners have some oil within the formula. If you're applying oil to the lashes before you apply your mascara, that oil within the serum is going to break down your mascara throughout the day. It might not do it immediately, but it will do it within time. And then once it's broken down, it will transfer onto the skin around your eyes. So if you are using a lash conditioner, use it at night, don't use it in the morning. Tip number 3, don't use any heavy eye creams before you apply your makeup. I always save my really heavy eye creams for my evening routine and use a lighter one or no eye cream at all first thing in the morning. I absolutely love the Kiehl's Avocado Eye Cream, and I've spoken about it quite a lot on my channel before. However, I did find that that was one of the main contributors for my mascara smudging around my eyes. So I now stopped using that first thing in the morning and I only use it in the evening. I smother it on more like an eye mask and then I leave it on for 15 to 20 minutes. In fact, sometimes I sleep in it and then I wash it off in the morning. But always make sure that you wash it off and there's no oily residue. Otherwise, you're in a little bit of a mess. But I am a dry skin girl, especially underneath my eyes. So the cream definitely helps, just not before makeup. Tip number 4, if you don't happen to have really dry under eyes like me, in fact, if you have the opposite, really oily under eyes and oilier upper lids, and this is so super common, dry skin all over the face, oily under eyes, oily lids, seen it so many times before, so it's always good to check. Then you are going to need to keep that oil at bay throughout the day in order to keep your mascara intact without it smudging and bleeding over the rest of the skin. I definitely recommend blotting paper. Sometimes it can be difficult to get your hands on it in a store. However, if you are struggling and you don't like buying online, a simple tissue will be absolutely fine. So grab a tissue, dab it underneath the eyes and also on the lids to remove any excess oils before you apply the rest of your products. Or even if you're going makeup free, you're just wanting to add a lick of mascara, dab underneath, dab on top, and you should be good to go. Tip number 5 is all about the makeup that you apply around your eyes before you apply your mascara. Now, this is incredibly important to get right, especially if you don't like using a waterproof or a tubing mascara. I would suggest that you completely switch out any foundation or concealer that you apply around the eyes that is heavy in oil content. Once again, it's a similar thing. If your lashes touch the product that's heavy in oil, it will start to break down the formula, which will then spread all around your face. So I, for example, love the Kosas tinted oil. I think it is superb. It is stunning on the skin, but it is a complete no-no for me around the eye area unless I want to look like a panda within a couple of hours. I would definitely recommend you try an eyeshadow primer, especially on those upper lids if your upper lids are oily, because eyeshadow primers, they are a multi-use product. You don't just have to use them when you're going to use eyeshadow. Eyeshadow primers work by blocking any excess oils from coming through the product, which in turn will stop your eyeshadow from creasing. But it will also stop your mascara from bleeding because you won't get any excess oils on the lids that will then break down your mascara. So if you've tried all of the other tips and they haven't worked for you, I would definitely recommend getting your hands on an eyeshadow primer. My favorite one is the P. Louise eyeshadow base. I have the shade 1 for winter, which matches my concealer shade or my foundation shade, and also I like the shade 2.5 for my summer shade, which is slightly deeper. It comes in so many different shades, so you don't have to have your eyelids or your under eyes a completely different colour to the rest of your face, but it is an amazing product. Tip number 6, apply a very fine dusting of translucent powder on those upper lids and underneath those lower lashes. It will just help to soak up any excess oils throughout the day before any lashes can hit the skin. So anywhere that your lashes might touch throughout the day, apply a very thin dusting. My favourite powder is the Easy Bake powder from Huda Beauty. It is phenomenal. It's great for anybody that has really oily eyelids, or anyone that has really dry under eyes like me as well. Tip number 7, I see this all the time. I don't personally apply my mascara like this, but I think it looks beautiful and I understand why people do it. Try not to apply mascara to the backs of your lashes. I see so many people do the fronts of their lashes and then sort of close their eyes a little bit and do the backs of their lashes, and I think it looks phenomenal, but it's only going to hinder that smudging process because the backs of your lashes are those parts of the lashes that are going to hit the skin and then possibly transfer and smudge throughout the day. So if you can get away with just doing the fronts of your lashes like I do, and I have 2 coats of mascara on my lashes today just on the fronts, and I don't think you'd notice that it wasn't on the backs as well, then try and do that and it will hopefully help. Tip number 8, apply a very thin dusting of powder behind the lashes, especially on those tips, both top and bottom lashes included. So I've had so many people ask me in the past, can't you see the powder on the lashes? As long as you don't do it as soon as the lashes have been coated in mascara, you will be absolutely fine. You may see the tiniest few powder particles on the lashes, but use a translucent powder and honestly within a couple of minutes you won't notice them anymore. They will have disappeared and they will definitely help to stop any transfer going onto the skin behind the lashes throughout the day. Such a great tip. I got it from Stephanie Marie. She is just a wealth of knowledge and it has worked for me, so definitely give it a go. Tip number 9 is for those of you that don't like covering your entire lash in a waterproof mascara, but the powder technique of powdering those upper lids and the backs of the lashes just isn't enough for you to keep that smudging at bay. I would definitely recommend a waterproof top coat because you don't need to smother a waterproof top coat all over your lashes. You just apply it to those lashes that hit the skin. So generally the backs of the lashes and the tips of the lashes you apply the waterproof top coat to, and this just completely stops any sort of smudging that you could get throughout the day. Now obviously you do need to go through those earlier steps if you have oilier lids to make sure you don't have any oils on the skin, because waterproof means waterproof, not oil proof, but this really helps along with a couple of other tips within this video. My favourite clear waterproof top coat is from Huda Beauty and it's the Legit Lashes waterproof top coat. Does what it says on the tin. And finally, tip number 10, and this may be your only option if all of the previous tips haven't worked for you, and that's to try out a false lash. Now, this does not need to be scary. I don't like a strip lash. I find them incredibly difficult to apply, and my eye shape is really quite a difficult eye shape to work with, so I have to really bend the lash strip in order to get it in the same shape as my eye before I apply it, which I find a little bit cumbersome and lengthy, and I end up not bothering at all. So the next 3 options that I'm going to share with you, I believe are the better option for anybody that feels like they just can't do a full-on lash strip. And in my opinion, these look more natural. They're not only easier to apply, but they look phenomenal on the lashes, and they last. You don't have to take these off every single day. You can sleep in them and they last around about 10 days or so. So I have a few options for you. My favorite is Lash Ribbons, but it's a UK company only, I believe. I'm not sure they ship elsewhere. Please correct me if I'm wrong though. These come on a really long ribbon and you cut them to size. So I usually apply around 4 or 5 of them, and you just dust a little bit of glue underneath the lashes and then apply them with the tweezers. You can move them around a little bit and get them in place. There's plenty of time to be able to do that. But once you get the hang of it, it's doom, 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 and you've done. Within the space of a few seconds, one eye is completed. It's going to take you a little bit longer the first time you do it, but still, I would say 3 minutes, and you will have a full-on lash exactly the way you want it on one side. You would not know, and it is the same look as applying mascara, if not better, because your lashes are fuller and longer and more fluttery and just out of this world fantastic. So my favorite, Lash Ribbons, but there's also Lashify that you can try, which is a very similar process, a little bit more pricey though, and also Tatty Lashes, which is a more affordable alternative and very similar to Lash Ribbons. So those are the ones that I highly recommend, and they just look superb. And again, you can keep them on for quite a long time, so you're not having to apply fake lashes every single day, which I don't have time for. I just don't. They work wonders for me, and because they are fuller and longer, there is no need to apply mascara onto the fake lashes. And if you're not applying mascara, the mascara can't bleed and smudge all over the eyes. So problem solved. There we go. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please let me know what you've thought about it in the comment section. Have you tried any of these? Are there some tips that you've not heard of before that you're going to give a go? Do let me know in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.